Well, welcome to Rowley Station, where we've got the rather nice sight of two steam engines in steam together, first time in quite a long time. We hadn't originally planned to have two down here, but we've had a few technical difficulties with the visiting locomotive Sir Berkeley, which are not particularly serious, but they obviously could jeopardise the operation. So we've carried out some repairs on that. And then number two, the locomotive at the front there, has joined us from the Tamfield Railway for the event. That was originally going to run in the colliery, but we've thought it more prudent to have it over here, as it can also operate on passenger trains. It also has a cab, and given the weather forecast, that might actually be quite a sensible decision as well. So, always technical problems with steam locomotives as a risk, but you know, we're hopeful that with two engines we'll get through the next 9 days and enjoy the event. So locomotives are fitted with injectors, and that's the means by which boiler is pushed into the boiler to replenish that which is evaporated as part of the steam process. They have a non-return valve, usually two, if there's two injectors, one on each side of the boiler conventionally. This is the example on Sir Berkeley. Effectively, it's a non-return valve known as a clack valve in our industry, and sometimes these valves can become stuck, and what that effectively does is let the water to pass back around it and out through the injector overflow, and you've got danger of draining the boiler. Sometimes you get lucky and you can restart the injector, but usually you don't. So this one's obviously had it over its long 130 plus year working life. As you can see, there's a certain amount of spanner rash all over it, so it's been assaulted a few times. We didn't do that. We let the engine come out of steam, take the valve to pieces, and then it's had a little bit of attention in the machine shop. So not a particularly serious problem, but the inconvenience is you have to drop the water level below the valve, which is virtually all of it in the case of this locomotive, and then start again, and obviously you're starting with cold water, etc. So we'll test it this morning. Hopefully it'll be good for the rest of the event, and we'll enjoy using this rather lovely locomotive throughout its visit. We used two coaches at Beamish at Rowley Station. They've operated in this format previously. This is 58A. This was the Duke of Sutherland's saloon, built for his use up in Scotland, operated with Dunrobin, and it's followed Dunrobin on its voyage across to Canada and then back again. So this has been, I'd say restored, but it's probably better to say it's conserved, because we haven't had to do too much to it because it was so little used, and it was obviously very well built given the client. So it's had a new canvas roof over the winter, which will keep it watertight. It's been revarnished, it's had some other repairs done, but otherwise we've just sort of smartened it up. This coach is a North London Railway coach, which is owned by the Furness Railway Trust, from whom we hire it. And they were amenable to the idea of repainting it over the winter into Highland Railway green. So it better matches this coach and Dunrobin when that arrives, rather than the crimson it was in previously. So we've got most of the capacities in that coach. We are able in due course to take assist wheelchair users with this vehicle. So hopefully we'll be able to do that fairly soon as well. So they're quite a flexible train in terms of capacity as well. So then they should look the part, and also looks rather different as well. People do like a coat of paint. The quality of the coal we're using for this event is a little bit indifferent. We were hoping to have a rather better supply with us by now, but we're using effectively what we've had on site for quite a while. It's very, very smoky, unfortunately, so I'm sure it will attract comment. We've blended it with ovoids, which are a kind of compressed dust, just to try and clean it up a bit. But it will be a feature, I think, of the site that will be creating a certain amount of atmosphere. There's also been questions around operating Rowley, so after we've finished on the 1st of June, the engines will go back to their respective homes, but we will be operating for the summer holidays at weekends with a visiting engine down here, and we'll carry on like that with that kind of sort of part-time operation through until the point at which our own locomotive Dunrobin is completed. When that's done, we don't have to pay high fees for that. It's based at site, we can use it much more freely, and the operation at Rowley will become much more regular. We also have one of these of our own called Newcastle under Lyme, which will be one of our future restoration projects. So we'll have two locomotives to guarantee the service levels down here. So it's slowly, as we build up from COVID, but the aim is to be in a better position than we were in pre-COVID, with two locomotives home-based under our control once we get to that point of our plan.